Okay, team, I was asked to do a quick recap. So we discussed a lot of options, and I actually went through and slowly deleted a few of the options. So basically, what we ended up coming up with was thinking that this one would probably be the best option. This option has childcare 9 to 12-month-old moving into the existing library moving into the existing computer lab. And then this is basically phase three, is adding 3 classrooms and a set of restrooms. And then what was not in the original phase three is this music and youth room. Um, so we moved the music and youth down here. Noise factor, thought there'd be a good buffer with the restrooms here. We would have an exit coming out of the classroom here. This would probably be a science lab to allow a little bit bigger space since it's larger than the other classrooms. Need to have an exit at the end of the hallway though, so we would just have it be an emergency exit through the classroom. This would have an exit coming off here. We could potentially have the exit come off here where you turn to the right to go outdoors or to the left to go into the music and youth room. This way the music and youth could have their own separate entrance also, where they come directly into their space. They have quick access to the gym. The biggest drawback with this is probably the flow of the water through the city comes right through here right now. So we could potentially build it up and just divert it around a little bit. We have our playground here, but about 13 feet between the existing gravel and the fence here. So in theory, we could pick it up, even though it's all cemented in, and shift it over about 13 feet to the south. And then again, that diversion coming around just a little bit for the waterway here. It seemed to be the easiest fix and the easiest one to meet most of the pressing immediate needs. It's something that could be tacked on over the summer. In theory, they could start. It wouldn't interrupt most of education going on. The other option that ended up making it till the final round, where we ended up saying there weren't a whole lot of issues with it, was this prospect. And this prospect actually has a few issues of its own. But essentially, we used to have a hallway. Let me back up. We kept the hallway. Basically, we built out to the south here, adding on 7th and 8th grade classrooms. The existing office was actually here for the main office and then the principal office, and they would be shifted to the front over here instead. And this would be our library space. The existing 1st grade room, which is the lab, would be a conference room. You would come in here. 2nd grade would be there. Youth group would be here. Down the hall, 7th, 8th, 5th, and 6th. So there were a few discussions. We could extend the 5th and 6th out to this hallway here, all the way. So that hallway is now classroom. That was in the discussion. There are just a few issues with this. The biggest one of the bigger ones being that there is no space when you walk out here. You walk right into the parking lot. And we said we could pull up a few tiles of parking lot and shift everything to the south, because right now the kids come out and they have 8 feet to stand before they all get picked up by their parents, where currently they have this big, huge space where everybody can kind of congregate and wait for their parents. So pickup would be an issue, drop off would be an issue. Again, we could shift things and make that work. Another thing is this is kind of a little bit of a maze, a little bit of a mess, where when you walk in, it doesn't have the flow. Again, this would add the youth and choir. It would have 5, 6, 7, 8 together, pre-K 1, 2 together, and then 3rd and 4th in the upstairs. 9 to 12-month-old in the library. So actually, yeah, in the library where the offices are. But we looked at 14 different options or so altogether, and we thought this one was the cleanest. Thought it fit the needs really well. So here's the wrench that we're throwing in. The music and youth room wasn't in the original phase 3, and that could potentially be the thing that people drag their feet with is adding on a room for that when it's not used full time. And so, brainstorming, we talked about music and youth could potentially be in the library if the library stays here. And there is no add on of 9 to 12-month-old. Music and youth goes here, and then we only have the original phase 3 add on. Another discussion after the meeting, we talked about the large motor space. The big gym is not used all the time. We had some discussion over could we make the large motor space a multi-purpose room, make this after school age room, and make this large motor space more of the music and youth room. It could be huge. We could keep some of the gym floor in there, add some carpet, add a big screen projector, whatever. The basketball hoop, keep 1 or 2 of those. Would be something to discuss. So as it is, this is the proposed plan that we're planning on saying this is the site planning recommendation. Moving on from here then, site planning, pending approval, would disband, disassemble, whatever, and we'd say, here's our proposal, we're done. So then if you would like to stay on as part of the building committee, we've had some members say yes, they'll stay on, and some say no, they're done now. Building committee would pick this up, start to look at the details and say, what are we going to need for this classroom? What do we want for cabinets, for sinks, for all the details? And they start to look through all of those things. They compile a list and then contact contractors and solicit bids. I don't know how much time they need to come up with that, but the building committee's goal would likely be to try to have this turned around and have bids to bring to the October meeting, the October voters meeting. So that's where things stand. If you have some objections, if you have some different opinions that you think are strong enough that the site planning committee needs to reconsider, we can reconvene again before saying, here's our stamp of approval, we're moving on. But that's where things sat as we left the meeting. So thank you very much for your time. Pray that God would bless this process and that he would be the one guiding this. So thanks again.